Mhm. So my name is Katerina Loboda, and today I would like to present my topic, Introducing American Studies as a part of the program for B1 level students. And shortly about myself, I've been teaching English for 18 years in Riga Secondary School number 41, and mostly I do teach high school students, senior form students, and I consider incorporating additional materials as British or American culture and literature into your program as an important part of English language learning. So this year I participated in a Fulbright TEA program in the United States, the same as Ines mentioned, at the University of Nevada, Reno, and I was inspired to introduce American studies in my classroom with my 9th and 10th grade students. So I created a website about American city and state, and I will show you later, and I will mostly talk about it, how to introduce American studies in your classroom. So today's structure of my presentation is the following. Why to include American studies, the course project I will talk about, into your curriculum. So what 21st century competences this project develops, the description of the project itself, and finally, I will share with my colleagues, with the teachers, some useful websites for teaching English. And before I present my topic, I would like you, my colleagues, to answer 2 questions. Do you include your studies into your teaching process, and to what extent? So I will copy this link, but again, please copy and paste it into the where this link can be opened, or simply go to menti.com. So as it's easier for you, I think that it's easier to go to menti.com and to enter the code. So to go to menti.com and use the code. So the first question is, do you include American content? So it means not only teaching about American history or geography, but it's also maybe news. You discuss American news or read American literature in the classroom. For 9th and 10th grade students, I'm more specific in B1 level with B1 level students. Okay. Thank you very much for answering. So as we can see that many teachers do it, but some would like to do it. That's great. I will try to encourage you to do it today. Okay. So, and the second question, thank you very much. So as we can see that teachers are, Latvian teachers do include, teachers in Latvia include American content, and many teachers do want to do it, would like to do it. And the second question, let's pass to the next. Can I pass to the next question? Oh, this one I wanted to be the next question. So if you do include American content, to what extent do you teach American content to your students? There is a gradation from 1 till 10. I mean, 1 is just very little, but 10, it's on a regular basis. So pretty often, maybe you read American literature, or you talk about the famous people from the United States. So to what extent? Okay, so 5, 6, yeah. Okay. So 3.6 is the average. Okay, so it means that at least some teachers do include American content. Thank you very much. So 3.7. And we'll go back to my presentation. Okay. And so why to include American studies into your teaching process? So first of all, it's a great way to develop students' language skills. Students work with authentic sources, as Tatiana mentioned today, that it's very important that students do read and listen to the authentic sources. So for modern teenagers who are, at least in my school, they're so much interested in finding of everything what comes from the United States. It can be a challenging and interesting project. And the course project develops 21st century competences. So in our standard, in our program, they are called Caurviju prasmes. Namely, so the project will talk about develops 3 21st century competences. I would like to talk about collaboration, critical thinking, knowledge construction, and self-regulation. And according to our program, they are translated as sadarbība, kritiska domāšana un pašvadīta mācīšanās. So we as teachers should take into account that we can develop students' competences from the lowest level to the highest level. For example, if we look at the competence collaboration, so if students simply work in pairs and groups, it's just the minimum level, it's just the lowest level of this competence. And when students have shared responsibilities, when they make important decisions and each student's work is, the work is interdependent, then we can see how this competence is developed. So this is the highest level of this competence. Talking about critical thinking and knowledge construction. This competence goes beyond knowledge reproduction, and we as teachers can introduce activities which require some knowledge construction. For example, interpretation or analysis. It could be evaluation and synthesis. So again, from the lowest level to the highest level of this competence, when the activity requires innovation, this is the highest level of critical thinking, knowledge construction competence. And finally, talking about self-regulation, again, activity should be a long-term activity, and students are introduced with the success criteria in advance. Students learn how to plan and monitor their own work, and the highest level of this competence when students are able to improve their work based on their feedback. It could be from the teachers and from the classmates as well. Okay, and now talking about the project itself. As I mentioned previously, I participated in a Fulbright TA program, and I was inspired and to create my own website about American City Reno, State Nevada. And this autumn, I would like my 9th and 10th grade students to create their websites about the chosen American city and state. So the learning outcome of this project is students choose an American city and state according to their interests, and based on the success criteria, create a website and present it to the classmates. So there are certain objectives students have to meet, starting from they learn, I will teach them how to create a website on sites Google.com. Then students choose an American city and state according to their interests, or randomly if they have no idea about what they want to explore. So students search for the information for their project, evaluate the sources, make a list of references. Then they create a website, and there are certain points students will have to include on their website. I will show you in a while the website itself. So there should be geographical and historical information materials, sightseeings, educational establishment, and culture. for example, a cultural event or a festival, which is typical for this city or state. And finally, students will share and present their project. So students will be introduced with the success criteria in advance. And here, I would like to add that I've used materials from School 2030 to create the table with the levels of students' knowledge. And mostly there are language skills which will be evaluated, and presentation skills, the content of the website. But I have added here the 21st century competences I was talking like some minutes ago: collaboration, critical thinking, and self-regulation. So, and as you can see here, the lowest level, when students simply decided to work in pairs or groups, but they maybe didn't talk much, who is going to do what in this project, they simply decided like, okay, I will talk about geography, you will talk about the history. But if students consciously split the responsibilities for this project, when they make important decisions together, and finally the highest point students get if they each student's work, each student's part, yes, work was very important for the project, and then they can get 4 points. And now I would like to show the website itself. So this website will be a sample, an example for my students. Just a second. So I will teach them about Reno, Nevada, and they will have to create their own project. Okay. So the website consists of 5 pages plus homepage. On the homepage, students will have to depict the basic information about the chosen city and state. For example, the map, the location. They can talk about the population of the state, population of the chosen city, why they have chosen the city and the state, and just the basic information. For example, here I included the information about Reno, how the city was named, how it gained its name, Reno. So the next, geography and history of the state, geography and history of Nevada state. And here I have included the facts which I found pretty interesting, that Nevada state has got its nickname Silver State because of the importance of silver to its history and economy, and that previously the territory of Nevada was inhabited by American Indians, and the first Europeans who came here to explore the region were Spanish, and they called the region Nevada snowy because of the snow which covered the mountains in winter, similar to Sierra Nevada in Spain. And here I included the pictures of Nevada state. For example, this picture shows that the climate is semi-desert in Nevada state. Las Vegas is the biggest city and the most popular one from the state. And there is also a short video about best places to visit in Nevada. So the next page is about, very shortly, again, it's up to students. They will decide what kind of information to include about geography and history of the chosen city. And here I decided to include information about the famous Reno Arch slogan. So how it appeared, and like 100 years ago, the Reno Arch had completely different words. It was written Nevada's Transcontinental Highways Exposition. And then the mayor of Reno decided to change these words, to change the slogan. And the mayor offered $100 prize to the person who can come up with some creative slogan. And like 100 years ago, it was changed into the biggest little city in the world. So this arch is it is a permanent downtown gateway. So you enter the city and you see this beautiful arch. So there are also some more pictures of the downtown Reno and the mountains. Students will also decide to which topic they would like to add subtopics. For example, here I decided to add additionally some sightseeings in Reno and very shortly talk about them. Then there are also, Reno is famous for museums, especially National Automobile Museum, where there are more than 200 cars displayed in 4 galleries. So it's one of the best car museums in the United States. So except for geography and history, students will have to explore a little bit about the natural wonder. Maybe it's a lake, maybe it's a mountain, maybe it's a canyon, which is typical for their state or their chosen city. And here I've included Lake Tahoe. It's a popular resort for local people and for inhabitants from the neighbor states. A lot of people from California come here. It's a neighbor state. And yeah, it's a natural and scenic wonder. And here I've included also the image carousel so that I will show the students that not only how the pictures can be shown on each page. So some pictures from Lake Tahoe. And yeah, so this place is visited by inhabitants all year round. In winter, you can do winter activities here, and in summer, of course, the air is cool. It's not that hot as in Reno and Las Vegas, so people come here just to breathe fresh air, cooler air. And the next page, the next topic students will have to include in their presentation is something about education, educational establishment. And again, I think that it's a great opportunity for students to explore and what educational possibilities are in this state. Maybe they will be interested to learn about some programs at the university, which is famous in this place. So educational establishment, and finally, a cultural event. So, and for example, I learned while staying in Reno about this festival, Burning Man Festival. I have never heard about it before. And this is a huge art festival dedicated to community and self-expression. And it takes place once a year at the end of August, the beginning of September, in the middle of desert. And this desert is called the Black Rock Desert, 100 miles north of Reno. And the participants are supposed to design, build all art activities and events. So, and each year the theme is different. And when I was in Reno, I was walking around the streets and I saw a lot of interesting sculptures in the streets. And I wondered why there are so unusual, extraordinary sculptures in the streets of Reno City. And then when I learned about this festival, I realized that those sculptures are the copies from this festival, Burning Man Festival. So, and this festival finishes with the burning of the wooden sculpture of man, wooden man. So that is briefly about my project, about the website on American City and State. And I suppose that this project can take about 3 months or 2 months. It depends on how often you let your students to work in pairs or groups in your lessons. Maybe if you decide that, okay, each Wednesday, you guys gather and in my classes, and you discuss and you create this project and show me the progress of it. Or maybe once in 2 weeks time, you monitor the students' progress and how successful they are, maybe the struggles they have. So, and but it will definitely take time. It's a long-term project, and while presenting, it's again will take some time to listen to the students and to let them make improvements after your feedback, after the classmates' feedback. Yeah, so this can be a nice beginning to introduce American studies in your classroom. And now I will go back to my presentation. And after finishing this presentation, after finishing this project about American city and state, of course, you can continue as a teacher, introduce some different topics. I will also show you where you can get the information about some other topics about the US content. So there are some useful websites for American content teaching, and it's not only history and geography, but it also can be news, literature, fun activities, and so on, and video lessons. And the first website, what I included, americanenglish.state.gov, and this website was already mentioned during the previous presentation from US Embassy. And if you click on American English, you can find US culture and music and games. And I found for myself a lot of fun activities for students. Mostly their vocabulary games, word search, puzzles. And what is great about the resources that they are in PDF format, so you can print them out and use in your classes. So, and the next one, manythings.org, Voice of America. So on this website, if you click on reading, so manythings.org, you click on reading, you can find here text and MP3 files about American history. Again, you can think about how to incorporate these topics into your American studies all this long project. Maybe you will split the students into different time periods. Students can find some event what they're interested in and present it to the classmates or in other ways. So then also there are American stories, people like biographies. I love this topic, and people, students are always interested to talk about some influential people or important people from their history and places and so on. So this is great for students to listen or to read. It depends on what they prefer or which skill you would like to develop. And the next one, Learning English, Voice of American News. And you can see here that the videos and MP3 again files are split into different students levels. And if you are particularly interested in US history, so you will have to click on here. And what I found interesting here, America's presidents, and there are 1-minute videos about each American president. Again, you can introduce a topic about America's presidents. Each student or each pair of students choose the president they are interested in. They simply watch 1-minute video and draw their own conclusions. Maybe you will ask them to find 2 or 3 important moments of his presidency, and maybe the things what this president did great for his country. So great site to use. The next one, an ESL video, it's more about video lessons. This site is great to use during the online teaching, especially. is, again, you can ask your students to watch the video, and either you can create your own questions based on the video information, or there are a lot of templates. So students will have to watch the video, complete the tasks, comprehensive question, and fill the gaps exercises, and they send the results to the teacher, and you as a teacher can see students' responses after they completed the tasks. So what was answered correctly, what wasn't correctly, and then discuss it with the whole class. So video lessons with the quizzes. And the next website is also based on the lessons, video lessons for students, at TED.com. And I would like to show you more about this website. This is my favorite. So again, first of all, we have to get registered as an educator, either through your Facebook account or Google account. And if you want, you can create your own lessons, but if you don't want to create your own questions, you can find already videos with the questions. So you click on Manage Lessons, and you can see here which lessons I have used already with my students. For example, again, if you want to teach them a little bit about the United States and history, then you can find something about US history. If your topic is health or food, then again, you can find the topic about, you can find a video about the topic you're teaching from your textbook. So for example, here was a pretty interesting video about the influential person in American history, Harriet Tubman. So, and we discussed a lot about this person's impact on America's history. And so here you have to write the topic you would like to find in video on, and then you send your students the link. They have to write only their name and surname. They even don't have to get registered. So just name and surname, and after they've done, you as teachers receive notifications. And here you can see the students' names and their progress. So this is a great site to use as teachers, and my students always love this video. They told me they're very interesting. And finally, I would like to also advertise the website jeopardylabs.com. Maybe you know it already. So there are thousands of board games about any topic. So if you go to jeopardylabs.com and click on browse and type any topic, again, it could be the current topic from your textbook, or maybe if you teach about American culture, history, then you write the topic. And there are thousands of games already, which are like templates. They are ready games. Of course, if you would like to create your own board game, then you can do it, but you will have to get registered. But without registration, you can find the ready game, and just before the lesson, you have to go through the questions. Whether your students are familiar with the answers or they have no idea, then it's not worth giving such a board game. So only you have to find the questions what you have discussed with your students have learned. So thank you for your attention. If you're interested, you can write me an email and I will send you my presentation. And I'm absolutely sure that students will enjoy and they will learn a lot if you incorporate American Studies into your curriculum. So if you have any comments or any questions, you're welcome. Thank you very much. Thank you, Inga.